Someday when we're old and gray, we'll tell our grandkids that falling in love is a lot of ups and downs.
It's not easy.
But your love makes you get through it. And you gotta stay strong together. You look forward to solving your problems together. Look forward to going home together.
And to never give up on each other. Even if she drops
she goes
90% of the meals
is
on
really
the floor.
awful. It is crazy half the time for 3 years. It'll work out in the end. Just stick with it.
Sam and I first met in Stillwater after a concert, and we were at White Barn, and I had just come through, with my cowboy hat on, of course, and I only wear it when I'm trying to get into trouble. And I saw her in the back of the room.
And a friend of ours introduced us. We both had back issues, and Jordan had just had surgery. So they kind of introduced us and said we should talk, and we started talking.
I got to thinking, well, this is my way in. I can just say, hey, here's my number. If you ever need help with your back, give me a call.
He just cracked me up. And then it was serious too, because we talked about his back and his issues with that. And then he gave me his number to call if I ever needed questions about my back. And I never called because I thought it was just about the back. So I thought he was just a nice guy, and he was adorable in his big old cowboy hat.
She was a beautiful girl. I could tell by her personality, though, that everyone loved her. All of her friends loved her, but that night she was just really kind of quiet and reserved. When I first met her smile, I was attracted to her smile.
He was funny. Even though we were talking about serious stuff, he was still funny. And I always have liked funny. We have, my maid of honor is Brittany Weaver. And she was a mutual friend. They went to UCO together. And JC, who is actually another bridesmaid of mine, we lived together in Norman. And we always threw an annual Christmas party. And Brittany and other mutual friends brought Jordan. And so we talked that night, and then she brought me to his Christmas party the next week.
Oh, she was definitely checking me out. At that Christmas party, she was definitely checking me out, for sure. And it was probably my sweater. I probably had the best sweater there.
And then we kind of texted as friends, and I didn't really think more of it. And then it kind of turned into more.
But I knew she was the one, probably on our first date. We just had a good bond. We enjoyed each other. She made me laugh. I really loved everything about her.
He came and picked me up in Norman.
Well, I decided I didn't want to drive the new truck. I didn't want her to know I had a new truck, so I drove my old, we call it Mean Green. Everyone will appreciate Mean Green. She's been around the block, and she didn't want to ride Mean Green, so at that time she was borrowing her mom's car. I think hers was getting worked on, and we had to take her mom's car, so she was embarrassed of Mean Green.
And we went to the Olive Garden, and then he just came back. We watched movies at my house, and it was just low-key. That's what I liked.
And so I thought she'd run me off after that, but she didn't. I would have ran me off after going to Olive Garden, but we had a good time. We enjoyed it.
And thanks to Weave for keeping us together through some of our not so favorable moments.
Right.
They'd tell us to both lock it up. Lock it up. I knew he was the one when he met my family for the first time. We had my immediate family over to my parents, and it was in the summer, right a few months after we started dating. And which I'd never introduced a boy to my family. That was a big deal for me. Honest to God, I'd never really dated anybody before Jordan. And so my dad, I didn't know how my dad would react really, or my papa. And I think they wanted to be tough, and they just loved him from the beginning. My whole family had loved him. And so I knew then if they loved him that much, I loved him that much.
Thanks to all my friends for listening every time I have to call and need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Even though Sam probably didn't do much wrong, I'm just being dramatic. For that whole week, I was going in and out always going over there and playing pool, and Sam would say, "Where are you at?" And I would say, "Oh, I'm hanging out with your dad again." "Well, why do you always hang out with my dad?" It's like, "Well, because your dad's awesome. He's one of my friends." Well, finally it came to within 2 days of us leaving for Key West, and we ran up to the store together, and we were sitting in the truck, and that's when I finally talked to Steve. Steve knew it was coming, and he made it very easy for me, but it was still tough for me to do that. Not because Steve is such a hard-nosed or anything like that. It's just, it's a very emotional time. If you had to ask me 10 years ago if I could maybe tell you the type of mother and father-in-law I would want, I probably would have never imagined that they would be this great. Tammy is one of my best friends, just like Steve. I'm sure I drive her nuts. We talk a lot, but I look up to both of them very much. And, beating Steve at pool, it's very fun. Even though he thinks he's better than me, he's not. I love working with Tammy. Steve won't let us work together anymore because we get in trouble. But I want Tammy to know that I very much enjoy our projects together, even though we almost kill each other. And thank you so much for allowing me to come into the family, and I love you both. 25 years from now, we will be hopefully on Sunset Key with the house.
I guess they're going to bring in a lot of land for us.
With Piper.
And all my farm animals.
Yeah. We'll have Piper stuffed.
And donkeys. Goats.
Hopefully we'll have a farm and with lots of cows.
Lots of animals.
Lots of animals. Maybe a kid.
Yeah. Or two. Maybe, if you're lucky.
I'm looking forward to retirement, I would hope.
I'll still definitely be working.
I'll be retired.
You will not. You'd be too bored. We'd both still be working for sure.
I'll still be doing projects for your mom.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to do the proposal in Key West. I just didn't know the exact location. And that's when we came up with the lighthouse, planned the day of July 7th, 2014. Nobody knew besides her parents, and grandparents, and several people at the firm, and in my family as well. But I didn't tell any of my friends. I didn't want anyone to know. Everyone was so bizarre. My dad and I are really close. My dad was totally weird. My grandpa was weird. Like, everybody in my family was just weird. So I knew something was up, but you never know. He may have been planning something for my mom. I needed a drink or several, and Steve would not let anyone drink that day. And so everyone thought something was up because we were all in Key West, and we made sure we had no drinks in the house. And I was just pacing around all day. Steve was very strange all day. He was hiding in the room. He wouldn't come out and talk to Sam, and I was acting really strange. Sam knew I was. She just kept saying, what's going on? We all went to the beach, and I knew something was weird. So I'd been like, oh, I'm gonna just get burned and do all this. And I was kind of baiting people to tell me what was going on. No one did. And so we went home from the beach that day, and my maid of Brittany, who was the only girl that knew, and there were several others with us, she was like, oh, don't wear that. That's not that cute. Or don't wear that. Oh, well, whatever. So before we had plans to go to dinner, he's like, let's go by the lighthouse. Your dad has something for your mom. So I was like, okay. And he was carrying around a rain jacket. And in Key West, it's like 90, with 90% humidity. It's hot. So I was like, why are you carrying around that stupid rain jacket? And as we're driving, she says, I don't understand why you keep carrying this rain jacket. Well, this was Steve's idea. He told me, hey, always carry that rain jacket. That way, when you go to propose, it won't look awkward that you're carrying a rain jacket. I said, gotcha. That's brilliant, right?
That was great.
And so she doesn't mess with my rain jacket this entire trip. And then we're headed over, and she says, I don't understand why you have that rain jacket. She goes to grab it, and I yank it, and I'm like, do not touch my rain jacket. And I had the ring hidden in it. So for all these days, she doesn't care about my rain jacket, and then all of a sudden, and then that instantly clicked on her. Well, I just don't understand why you're acting so weird.
And he was like, your mom's gift is at the top of the lighthouse. And I really knew something was up then because that just made no sense. So we get up into the lighthouse and there's the stairwell, which, like I said, has no inside railing. And I'm kind of scared of heights. So we got to the bottom and that's when he was like, you are gonna walk up those stairs. Like, I'm not walking up those stairs. And he made me.
I didn't want to walk up the stairs. But she gets to the top and she says, I don't even see a picture up here. What are we doing up here? And I said, well, maybe they just haven't brought it up here yet. We gotta wait.
And then we turned, and that's where the table was with the champagne.
And then that's when I got down on the right knee I needed to get down on.
You did get down on the right knee. No. You put it on the wrong finger.
I put it on the right finger, too.
He gets really sensitive about that, but he did put it on my right finger, and I said, Jordan, it goes on the other one.
That's not true. She's making that up.
I wouldn't make that.
Like I said, she was overwhelmed.
About it. Mm-hmm. And then our family, I could hear who was it, Emily, who's my cousin. I could hear her yelling as soon as they turned, because you turn a corner and then we could see them. And my mom had got everybody matching shirts. But I could hear Emily yelling and cheering as they walked in. So they all filed in, and then his parents came in, and you weren't expecting that. No.
I got pretty emotional when I saw them.
And then it was a big celebration. And Katie broke her leg, or knee, or ankle. It was good. Danny and Dania, I just want to say thank you so much for raising a polite, well-mannered, absolutely awesome son. Thank you so much for accepting me into your family, and thankful for you guys. And I can't wait to spend more holidays and more time with you all. Love you guys.
Life with Sam is always an adventure. So I look forward to, seeing where life takes us. We love to travel. I'm looking forward to building our first house together. Just kind of seeing where it goes. I don't know where it's going to take us.
Jordan, thank you for being there for me. I know I was quite a difficult person during school, and no one else would have put up with me. And I just want to say thank you, and thank you for picking me. I love you.
Even on the darkest nights, you held me in your arms so tight. However far away